Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be talking about the next big thing that will happen to Global, which is Mifune and Sirius Omni coming to Global. First, let's talk about Sirius Omni. His normal hits will be 13 hits with 4 BC per hit and cost at 47, which is pretty standard for today's Omni. Leader skill. You will have a 50% boost to your HP and attack, which is quite good enough, and he will also have a BB attack buff at 180%, which is also cool. The next one is actually what I like about him. He will also have a 100% boost spark damage, which is not the highest. Aze's and Fern's leader skill at the spark is actually bigger than Sirius, but if you don't have both of them, you can still use this one as lead for your spark damage, since it is still at a good rate, which is 100%. At his Omni form, he will also have a 6 PC per turn effect on his leader skill, which I think is also pretty good. Now let's talk about his extra skill. He will have a 20% damage to HP, which is a HP return when damaged. This one has a 25% chance on happening. It's not really vital, but it will save your life at certain times, which is still good enough to have. The next one on his extra skill is actually really good. You will have a 1 turn 25% damage reduction for every 10k damage that you receive. This one is really good. It will make your Sirius really dead. And he will also have a 2 to 3 BB fill when spark effect on his extra skill. So filling up your BB gauge on your Sirius will be really easy, especially when you build a spark squad for him. Now his Brave Burst, 17 hits AoE, which is light element as well. And he will also have a 3 turn BB attack modifier at 250%. Not so good, but it's still good to have on your BB. The rate is still pretty high, I think, on his BB, so it's still pretty good. And this is the thing that I really like about Sirius. He will have a 1 to 2 BC skill on Spark on his BB as well. This one is really good. His Omni form will also give you a light and dark element buff to attacks. Now his Super Brave Burst, 20 hits AoE with also a BB attack modifier buff on your attacks. This one's for 3 turns, and this one will be at 300%, which is pretty high for today's standard. I think this one is one of the highest BB attack buff in the game. This one on his SBB will also have a 3 turns BC fill when spark, which is at 1 to 2, the same rate as his BB. So if you have Silas, if you have Fern, and then you have Sirius in your squad, you will have almost every buff you need in the game. Including this one from his SBB only, he will have a attack, defense, recovery buff as well. This one is at 140% and it will last for 3 turns. This one is really good. He will have a light and dark elemental buff to attacks for 3 turns as well. So BB, SBB, they are all very good. The BC cost on his BB will be 25 and the BC cost on his SBB is 30 BB, which is pretty low. Now his UBB, 25 hits AoE and a 75% damage reduction for 3 turns. 3 turns, 50 BC per turn. That is huge, really huge. And 3 turns attack, defense, recovery buff at 250%. And a 3 turns BB attack modifier buff. The BB attack buff here is not really high, it's only at 500%. Azurai has 1000 BB attack buff. But still, this is, I think from his BB, SBB, and UBB, he has almost every tool you need in the game. Although the rate is not the highest, but it's everything you need, so yeah, I'm still alright with this. And since he have the light and dark elemental buff from his SBB, I think when this guy comes to global, I will reset my enhancement on my Fern and Silas since I don't really need the light and dark elemental anymore. Now let's take a look at his enhancement. You can see it for yourself here. I don't really need to explain because it's all pretty simple. So, well, I'll explain it anyways. So the first one is 20 SP. You will get a 20% all status, which is really good. The next one at 30 SP is that he will have a 50% boost to all weakness damage, elemental weakness damage. The next one at 10 SP, this one's not really useful. I think he will have a 10% BB gauge fill rate. I don't think I will ever take this one unless I only have 10 SP left and I don't know what else to take. The next one at 30 SP, he will have a null elemental weakness damage. I think this one can be useful at most of the time, but I don't know. Let's take a look at the next one. At 40 SP, he will have an additional 100% to his BB attack buff on his BB, SBB, and U. This one's really good, and I think this one is a must take. The next one at 40 SP as well, he will have an enhanced effect on his BB fill on Spark. This one will add one more BC to those effects. The next one is at 40 SP. This one, he will have another BB regen effect to his BB and SP. Like his leader skill, this one will also add 6 BC per turn. This one could be useful. The last one at 60 SP. This one is really huge. This one will add an extra turn to his UBB effect. I don't really think this one is really useful and it will cost you 60 SP. This is too big and I think 3 turns is already enough. And I don't really think this one will add one more turn to the mitigation on his UBB, so no. And now let's talk about his possible builds. I only see 3 builds that is possible on this guy, well, according to me. So the first build will be 20 SP, 20% all stats. The next one I will take the 40 SP one, which will add 100% more on your BB attack, so that's already 60. The next one, I think I will take the 40 SP as well. I will take the +1 BB fill on Spark, so that's already 100. Build number 2 is actually just a variant on build number 1, so I will, for the last 40 point, I will instead take the BB regen in place of the +1 BB fill on Spark. For build number 3 is if you guys needed a more damage on your Sirius, this one will be the build. So the first thing that I will take is the 20 SP, which is 20% all stats, and then the 30 SP, which will add 50% more on elemental weakness damage, and we will only have 50 SP left. I will take the BB attack buff, which will take the 40 SP, and since I only have 10 SP left, I will take the BB gauge fill rate since I don't have any. And those are all the builds for Sirius. Now the next unit that will get his Omni on global. This one, I think everybody is waiting for this guy. It's Mifune! Achoo! The king of farming, the king of Mega Metal Parade, and also the troll of arenas and Colosseum. So it is time to say goodbye to Angel Idol effects. So I'll see you in hell. This guy has a normal hit at 1 hit, which will generate 40 DC. I don't really care about the cost, but if you guys need to know, he will cost at 45. Now leader skill, boost 150% attack, 100% spark damage, and a 20% chance on defense ignore. And the last part is, if you do your attacks, you will have a chance on getting your HP back, but it's going to be only at 3% to 8%. Not that big, and I don't really care about it. Extra skill, 50% spark damage, and he will have an ignore defense effect to his BB and SBB. So yeah, this one is really great for your Mega. But I don't really think that you will need the BB SBB for Mega Metal Parade or for everything else. So now Brave Burst, 1 hits, AoE. 1 turn, 50% spark debuff, at 25% chance on proccing. Okay, I don't really care. And 3 turns BB fill rate at 30%, doesn't really matter. PC cost at 34, now his Super Brave Burst, 1 hit, and it's also an AoE. It also does have a 50% spark debuff on your enemies with a 25% chance on proccing. And also 1 turn attack down debuff on the enemy. I don't really think this has a lot of tools in your everyday stuff, but all we need from this guy is actually his ultra hitting 1-hit thing. Now his Ultra Brave Burst, 7 hits. Why is it not 1 hit? AoE as well at 2000% BB modifier, which is really huge. And he will have a 3 turns 300% attack buff, a 3 turns 200% spark damage, and a DOT. So his BB, SBB, UBB, I don't really think it matters, but the fact is we only need this guy for his damage, and that is all we need, damage alone. And the other thing is maybe he looks cool. Now his enhancements. So the first one here is 20 SP. He will have a 50% boost to his attack. The next one at 30 SP plus 100% on his spark damage. The next one at 20 SP, he will have a 10 BC fill on spark. This is pretty huge. 40 SP, so he will have a 30% boost on his BB SBB attack modifier. And after you unlock this one, I think this one is at 10 SP. He will have a 50% BB attack modifier while his HP is above 50%. The next one at 30 SP, he will have a 20% chance on normal attacks into AoE with a minus 50% damage penalty. This one is the only one that you need from Mifune. The next one is 30 SP. He will have a passive effect on BB regen. This will fill his BB gauge by 4 BC per turn. The next one, this one is not really that important for Mifune. This one's at 40 SP. He will have a health return when hit. He will convert 10% of the damage into his HP, and this one has a 20% chance on proccing. Not so important for Mifune. The last one is at 50 SP. He will have a attack buff on his BB and SBB. This one's pretty good, I think. And the attack buff is pretty huge, is at 150%. But then again, I don't really think this one is really important since you only need Mifune's normal attack. Now let's talk about his build. I can only see one build for this guy. So what I will take on my Mifune is the 20 SP one, which will add 50% more attack on himself. And the next one is at 30 SP, which will make his normal attacks into a AoE with a 20% chance on proccing. And that is, I think those two are the only ones that I need. So the next SP that you have for this guy, you can take anything you want, since I don't think every other enhancement are really that important. So yeah, that's it. I really can't wait for these two guys to come into global. I really wish it will come this week or early next week. I really just want to use these guys for everything that I do in the game. So please, Gumi, make them come fast. Yeah, and that's it for Sirius and Mifune overview, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like this video if you like it, share it with your friends if you want your friends to see what they do, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel by pressing the fun button over there. And I thank you guys for watching, thank you for coming, thank you for listening to me on my gibberish, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye. Watch out!